guys. So, I'm gonna try to make this video quick because I gotta clean the house because my folks are coming home, or coming over. Anyway, this is about Bleach. Everybody knows about Bleach, right? It's very popular, everybody loves Bleach, woo! It's probably one of my most favorite of the big three, because of a few reasons, but if you don't know what the big three are, they're the big three shonen, woo! And they're Bleach, Naruto, and One Piece. Not exactly in that order. Wait, maybe in that order, I'm not sure. But anyway, so the show starts out, I'm not going to break down the show actually, because I'm sure you've heard of it, or you could get that information at another review. There's tons of reviews. In a way, this is more just my thoughts on this show. So, let's get started. There's a lot of good things to say about it and a lot of bad things to say about it. What we're going to start out with is the good things because they're easier and that way you kind of feel good and positive when we start out. So here we go. So one of the ingenious thing about Bleach is basically they create an afterlife world that is complex and unlike very many other afterlife or other realities based around death. You follow? Basically, there's not. It doesn't the world they create doesn't resemble anything that major religions really portray anymore. Maybe Shintoism. Shintoism. I don't know. Anyway, I don't know that much about it, so I don't know if this is them just ripping that off. But from what I understand, this doesn't follow any of the major religions, and in a way, it's ingenious because it is. The world they create is anything but perfect. It is a horrible kind of shitty place, really, if you stop and think about it. I mean, the only thing going for it is you don't need to eat unless you're Soul Reaper. Other than that, it sounds like a pretty crappy place to live. And not only that, but the governing body, the place where authority is positioned, does not rule good or well or anything. I mean, it rules fairly poorly and fucks things up all the time. You know, and that's why Ichigo's gotta always, you know, he's always fighting the system to get things done for the people, you know, or he's gotta rescue so-and-so. Anyway, so that's one side of it. They create this brilliant world, and, you know, you can spend time thinking about whole concepts. Their fighting style, say what you want about the actual fights, but their inventions of various different sword techniques are kind of mind-blowing. Like, for example, in the episode I saw most recently, which was on Adult Swim, I've seen a few after the... I'm ahead of Adult Swim, so this is not a partial review. But I think I'll just talk about the Adult Swim episode right now because I interrupted myself. Anyway, in the Adult Swim episode, there's these two people fighting, and it's not going well. But anyway, the guy breaks out a sword, and let me start over. Basically, this guy injects another character with a poison that makes them superhuman. Now, why would you make your opponent superhuman? Well, it's not really superhuman, but it's like at that moment, you know, when you're stressed out, like if you're in a car accident or a fight or something, and time passes slowly. He basically injects him with that. And what ends up happening is he's in that heightened state, but his body's not reacting at the same level, see? So he's moving really slowly and he's not feeling things when they happen. So he in a way, he's superhuman, but in another sense, he's totally vulnerable. And that's a mindfuck concept, you know? I mean, that's whoa, who the hell came up with that? You know what I mean? And there's a lot of those little things throughout it. In many ways, the whole... I don't want to say it resembles Hakusho, but it kind of does. In the general afterlife kind of I don't know. I don't even want to say that. It's kind of like that if they spent a lot more time building a world in the afterlife beyond it just being a crappy place, if you follow. Anyway, what about the characters? The characters are interesting. They to a certain extent. There's not huge development. There is some development, you know, you learn about Ichigo's mother and stuff, but I mean, it's not a slice of life. You should not expect development from a shonen, usually. And, I mean, I think that's just a general rule at this point. I mean, for better or ill, I mean. Anyway, so you get all that. But what else do you get? Well, you get some pretty good fight scenes, and overall, it's a pretty interesting place that they take you in their animation. How about negatives? Let's move on to negatives because I want to finish this because I got to clean the house. Negatives in this series are, number one, even though they create this giant, wonderful world and they have interesting concepts, fight scenes, they don't really exploit it. Instead, they don't really change the overall shonen plot, which is basically the hero's journey. It's like every other anime you've seen. Boy meets girl. Girl shows boy a new world or changes perspective of world. And he enters new world and he has to fight. And then said woman gets kidnapped and he has to rescue her. And gets helped along the way by new friends and associates. Then he returns her to wherever she belongs. Basically, that's the first major arc of the story. You know what I'm saying? But they go on from that. That's not the end. They go on to another giant, I don't want to say saga, but it's kind of reminiscent of sagas in Dragon Ball Z or any other shonen. And basically they go on to another saga. And what's the saga? Once you get past the fillers, ignoring the fillers, it's the same fucking thing. Another girl gets kidnapped and he has to rescue her and he gets helped along the way. It's the hero's journey. The hero's journey I love, but fuck, I mean, you could break through with this kind of shit when you're talking about, this entire concept of a world after life, and I don't know. It's kind of like I had high expectations for them to develop that, and they just kind of didn't. At least so far. I mean, once you get to like episode 300, and I forget which one I'm on, but it's like 300 or something. And once you get that high, you start to realize they're really not going to bring in any further deep plot, are they? But anyway, so what are a couple other negatives? Another negative that I've heard but I don't agree with is the fight scenes are lame. The fight scenes are predictable. They are predictable, but I would not say that they're lame. In comparison to other shonen, it breaks even. I personally like it better than a few other shonen. I think that the concept of a world after death is more interesting than it would be for One Piece. But One Piece has the ability, as noted, not in my review, but in the comments, and I think I will agree with it, is that it has the potential, each island's a new civilization. It's kind of got that Star Trek feel, if you know what I'm saying. Like the first Star Trek, it was like, they could end up almost anywhere. And in that way, One Piece does have that, but I don't think they use that for their potential. But we're talking about Bleach, so why am I talking about One Piece now? Anyway, so Bleach doesn't have that parallel, but they still explore different worlds in the afterlife. So they do that to a certain extent. They don't do it enough, in my opinion. Now, another major complaint has been the fillers. The fillers are horrible, they're bad, everybody hates them. This is true. Their fillers are not great, but they're better than some of the Naruto fillers in my opinion. And also they came up with the most brilliant idea. If you had to have a movie that was a filler basically, what would you do with it? Well, they called it Memories of Nobody, and it was an ingenious idea. They basically had a huge storyline, maybe ripped off the Melancholy Haru Suzumiya according to some people. I don't agree with it, but sure, a little bit, ribbons. Anyway. They rip it off a little bit, and they make a movie where all the major characters forget about her. Ingenious. I'm serious. That there was one of the biggest pluses for Bleach, that they'd have the balls to do that. Thank you Bleach for that. But a lot of people did not like the movie. They said that it ran against what the show was really about. It didn't add to the plot. This is true. Anyway, there's also been some complaints about it being so long. This I completely agree with. Bleach is a series that goes on for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of episodes and is still going on. That is too long. I mean, literally, they're almost at the point where if you picked an episode through a year, you're going to end up missing the first 100 almost. The first one, you know what I mean? It's like you have to buy the series to understand it because it goes on too long. I mean, it's almost like Dragon Ball Z. They need to shorten the shit. I mean, they were able to rebrand Dragon Ball Z because it was too long. They could almost do the exact same thing here with Bleach. I mean, it's frustrating. Well, not rebrand. They really just shortened some of the episodes and then combined them. Final thoughts on Bleach. I think Bleach is a very good show. However, it does not hack into the full potential that it had during the first, let's say, 200 episodes. You know, it really could be a larger, deeper, heavier show than it is. But it's shonen. You don't expect it from it. So that's kind of negated, in my opinion. I enjoy it, I guess. The animation improves also throughout the show. I mean, if you watch the first episodes, bad animation, even for the day, not great. Then it got hella good, and now it's still really good. I mean, it's kind of for the year it was made, it's still cutting edge as far as the animation that they're using. What else to mention about it? I guess that's it. I'd say that it's a pretty good show. You should definitely check it out I'm sure you have, probably. But if you haven't, definitely check it out. It's not for everybody. It's not for everybody. A lot of people don't like it because they say, one of the complaints I've heard is that it's too emo, which I kind of disagree with, but I can see why. I don't think it is, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But I think some people, I could understand why they think that. Look at One Piece. I'm sure people tell me it gets darker as you go on. It didn't get darker before I quit, basically. Naruto is interesting too, but I don't want to get into it because I'll probably do a review on it by itself. In conclusion, I'd say that you should definitely check it out. And yeah, I think I've already said that twice, so I'm going to leave it at that. Have a great day. Subscribe, comment, rate. Yeah!